This week, I celebrate 7 years alcohol free. And I've been sitting with what I could say to sort of sum up what these 7 years have given me. And gosh, it's made me quite emotional this week. Oh, 7 years ago, if you had asked me what I was hoping for to let go of alcohol, I probably would have said things like, I just want to be a bit more patient with my kids. I'd love to get rid of the bags under my eyes and have a better night's sleep. And I really want to stop waking up feeling so ashamed and hungover. And in the back of my mind, I was always scared I would never lose that feeling of missing out, of obsessing over my next drink. But I was willing to accept that if it meant not regretting being a bad mum for the rest of my life, then I could maybe do it. Never would I have imagined the freedom, the life, and the joy God had in store. So I got all the things that I hoped for, except for the bags. They're still there. I guess it's in the gene pool. But honestly, those things are just the surface because the real gifts of freedom from alcohol were not the ones I was expecting. They were so much deeper. If I had to name what sobriety has really done for me, it would be summed up as this: reconnection. Reconnection with God, with myself, with my body, with others in my life, with life itself. And from that place of reconnection, so much has been restored. So, here are my top gifts from 7 years of sobriety that I wanted to share with you. Number one, a closer walk with God. This is my favorite gift, the most important shift of all. Even when I was drinking daily, I was praying. I was a Christian, but I think I compartmentalized him. Morning prayer, and then I'd carry on with my day in my own strength. Now it's different. My relationship with God is more integrated into my day and so much more relational, like a friendship and a partnership. When I feel overwhelmed, I talk to him. When I feel joy, I acknowledge him. When I feel confused, I ask for direction. And it has slowly become the anchor of everything else. Number two, mornings. This one needs its own moment because it still does not get old. Waking up without regret and shame, without that heavy, anxious feeling of dreading the day ahead. Instead, I wake up peaceful most mornings, and there's a deep sense of gratitude and hopeful anticipation for the day ahead. I do not take it for granted. Number three, a different mind. A huge gift of freedom from alcohol is more space in my thinking. When I was drinking, everything felt very reactive. Something would happen and I would react immediately. There felt like no ability to pause in between. I felt like a victim of my own circumstances. All or nothing, black or white, right or wrong. Looking back, I understand now that alcohol doesn't just affect us when we're drinking, it affects the way our brain operates, even when we're not actively drinking. Our flexibility, our ability to sit in grey, our capacity to pause before we react. So much of my life was lived in urgent reactivity. Sobriety didn't just remove alcohol, it created space. Space to pause, space to feel, space to choose something different. And over time, with that space, came something else I didn't expect: clarity. More flexibility in my thinking, less rigidity, more ability to see options. I can sit with problems longer without rushing to fix or avoid them. There's a kind of internal knowing that has grown over time, and I'm learning to trust it more and more. In that space, I started to become someone I actually liked living as. There's no perfect here. Trust me, it's messy, but it's also so much more aligned with who I want to be in this world. Number four, resilience. Removing alcohol hasn't made life easy. If anything, life has brought some of its hardest times in these 7 years. I lost both my parents. I walked through breast cancer. There's been moments that have broken my heart wide open. But I've discovered something important. I don't collapse when my world does. And that's because my foundation is different now. My rock is not something that shifts depending on my mood or my circumstances. My rock is Jesus. And when the storm comes, I'm not trying to escape them the way I once did. I'm learning. I'm messy. I'm makes mistakes all the time, but I'm learning how to stand in them with God as my strength and my protector, to trust that everything will be okay in the end, because that's what God's word says. Number five, feeling my feelings. For a long time, I treated emotions like very inconvenient problems that needed to be fixed as quickly as possible. But over time, I've learned that feelings are actually very helpful information and energy source. Emotions are energy in motion. Loneliness, grief, fear, anger, they all carry important data. They all point to something. And instead of running from them, I'm learning to slow down and turn toward them, to bring them to God, to sit with them long enough to understand what they're showing me and what I need. And I've realized something simple but profound. I was never alone in them. Number six, reconnection with my body. One of the most unexpected gifts has been how I relate to my body. During cancer, I actually gained weight and, of course, lost my hair, my appearance changed. There was a time in my life when those changes would have felt devastating, but something in me has softened over the years. This body has carried me through grief, motherhood, illness, addiction, healing, joy. It breathes, it keeps going. It's not perfect, but it's remarkable. And it's the only home my soul has to live in this life. I used to be far more critical of it, far more focused on appearance. I never stopped to consider what my body actually does for me every single day. Being alcohol free has slowly brought me back into a relationship with it, not as something to constantly fix or criticize or hone, but something to live in, something to care for, to be grateful for. And the body is the temple of God. It's where He lives in me. That's just extraordinary to sit with. Number seven, an ever widening life. Something I've noticed about addiction that I think is so important is addiction shrinks our world. It's so slow and subtle, but it narrows everything down until so much of our thinking, our planning, our anticipating revolves around one thing: alcohol, which was for me. Sobriety does the opposite. It expands. I love to learn again. I read everything. I have a greater friendship network than I've ever had, more community, more interests, more sports, more life. If alcohol shrinks your world, sobriety is the ever widening of it, and it just keeps getting wider. Number eight, living by values. Something else that has emerged over time is clarity around what actually matters to me. I can actually name my values now, and I practice genuinely living more and more in alignment with them. One of the things I didn't even realize when I was drinking, but now I see with a was a big source of my self discontent and even hatred in that time, is that drinking caused me to live out of alignment with every single value I held dear. When I drank, I became someone untrustworthy, unpeaceful, impatient. I found now when I live in alignment with trust, simplicity, abiding in God, serving, peace, patience, I feel more and more joy and contentment. Sobriety didn't just remove something, it made space for me to actually become who I want to be. Nine, purpose. He gave me purpose. I am now an alcohol freedom coach. Every single day, I get to walk alongside people in this path, the exact journey I once walked alone in the dark. I get to help people understand what's happening in their brain. I get to witness the moment something clicks. I get to be part of someone's path to freedom. It is the best job in the world, genuinely, and none of it would exist without the mess, without that wilderness, the drinking, and the healing, and everything in between. He didn't just redeem my story, he turned it into someone else's hope. That still takes my breath away. In closing, this week as I was pondering 7 years alcohol free, this is the verse that popped out at me. It's Deuteronomy 8, verses 2, verses 5 and 16. It says, remember the long way that the Lord your God has led you these 40 years in the wilderness, in order to humble you, testing you to know what is in your heart. As a parent disciplines a child, so the Lord your God disciplines you, and in the end, to do you good. Friends, I'm 42. Much of my life was spent doing what was right in my own eyes. That led me to stumble into addiction, but God didn't leave me. He used addiction to humble me, to show me what was in my heart, to discipline me, and in the end, to do me tremendous good. So, if you're in the wilderness right now, remember the end is good and He has got an amazing plan for you. Whether you're still on your way to letting go of alcohol and can only see the tip of the iceberg of what might be possible, or whether you're a few months in but not feeling the best yet and wondering if it's worth it, I hope this gives you hope because it is worth it so much more than you can imagine right now. This 7 years is not my story of achievement. This is God's story of redemption. And if He did this with me, friend, just imagine what He has planned for you.